Hey free to play gang, let's take a look at Sander for today. I think he is one of the only Espers in this game who is truly good at every single content in this game. And by every content, I mean every single Ritual Miracle and Sonic Miracle, Temporal Tower, Cube Miracle, PvP, every single thing. So I've actually consistently underestimated his potential now and again, and that means that I'm easily going to push him to a double S ranking in the next tier list update, and this video will make your eyes open very wide. Right, and as always, let's take a look at his skills first. Dust of Mazar deals damage to a target equal to 70% of attack plus an additional 0.33% of attack per point of speed. So that means 100 point of speed gives you 33 more attack percentage. Furthermore, he also has a 75% chance to reduce the target's AP by 30%. So there is some AP control there. Let's move on to his second skill, Corrosion. Deals damage to an enemy equal to 180% plus 0.33% per speed of attack with a 100% chance of inflicting speed down for 2 turns. Now if this lands as a critical hit, Sander gains speed up for 2 turns. So do take note that he has a self speed buff which increases his general damage output because he scales off speed. Now moving on to his third skill, this is Sandstorm. Attacks a target 3 times, each hit dealing damage equal to 60% of attack plus 0.33% of attack per point of speed. He also has a 50% chance to reduce the target's AP by 30% per hit. The final attack stuns the target for 1 turn. So while you realize that he is the king of AP manipulation, he has AP manipulation on his first and third skill, and he also has speed manipulation on his second skill and a stun on his third skill. So basically he is the god of control, and he does a lot of damage at the same time because he can scale off speed. And of course finally, let's move on to his captain ability. He increases the ally's speed in Ritual and Sonic Miracles by 25%, which further increases his damage output. Now let's take a look at his stats and the relics that I'm running him with. Now this should be quite basic. You're gonna run him with Windwalker because you want him to have as much speed as possible, right? But generally there are 2 camps. Okay, so the first camp is gonna go pure DPS like me, and the second camp is gonna go pure accuracy, pure support. So you're either choosing between dealing more damage or landing better crowd controls. I personally feel like going the DPS route is going to be the best decision of your life because his second skill already demands that you have crit rate. So ideally you want to have a little bit more accuracy than me, but to be honest, me at like 18% accuracy, it seems good enough. Alright, first we're going to take a look at Kronos. I'm going to show you how he can solo the entire Kronos. Of course he has Suhua as his sidekick, but I want you to beware that this is going to be very toxic because if you do not have a Sander, you're going to feel like, oh man, why did I not pull for a Sander? And I also like to retouch on the point where I said that your supports demand your legendary ability mons more than your DPS Espers. And this is part of the reason why, okay? So your epic Espers are extremely strong and they are so much easier to resonate. So naturally, they are going to be so much easier to upgrade and they will perform so much better than, let's say, a Liling or any other legendary DPS. I'm not saying that you cannot upgrade them first. I'm just saying, like, from a consumption point of view, you want to balance out your resources, and knowing that the legendary supports in this game are so strong, I do feel like the legendary ability mons should go to the supports instead. And we can even go further to talk about rare Espers and how they are so easy to max out. But of course I'm just a noob, so don't trust anything that I say. These are just the ramblings of a madman. But let's take a look at this Kronos fight. Now what you notice is that Sander takes so many turns and he does so much damage. And what you notice is that, honestly, from my experience and me looking at the damage charts, he kind of goes on par with Lin Xiao. And I can guarantee you that my Lin Xiao is very well built. And to add, Lin Xiao does AoE damage which adds to her total damage output, whereas Sander is just strictly single target. So I think in my opinion, given that my Lin Xiao and my Sander are equally built, I would say, I think Sander still possibly outpaces Lin Xiao in DPS. Now feel free to disagree with me on this, but I feel like him going with like 230 speed, he is going to do a lot of damage and very regularly. And all the controls that he has is going to make him so relevant. But I will agree that Lin Xiao is a lot easier to build than Sander. I think Sander is extremely difficult to build. He is by far one of the only Espers in this game that requires so many different kinds of stats. So he needs attack power, he needs crit damage, he needs crit rate, and he needs a lot of speed. So it is very hard for you to juggle all of his stats. But it is because of this that makes him very powerful as well, because he scales off so many different kinds of stats. But this has been the Sander solo on Kronos, so this is also possible, and this is also one way that you can grind 3 fodders at once. Now let's move on to Apep. Alright, so this is not my standard team. I'm using this team because it's a lot more free to play, I think. because every single one of these Espers, except for Sender of course, is completely free to play. So I think this is going to be a little bit more relevant to a bunch of you guys. So yeah, let's see how he performs. So what I really like about this team is that there is 2 defense breakers here. There is Gabriel and there is also Drew. So there will be enough defense breaks to make the run sufficiently fast. And Suhua here grants us the attack power. Obviously you don't need to use Suhua, you can use Dahlia, you can use Anki Chai as well, because the defense buff will still clash with Gabriel. So I think for this team she is not as useful as Dahlia. Anyway, let's take a look at how Sender performs in Apep. Now, obviously, this is not going to be an early game build, and this is for various reasons. Because, okay, number one, Sender, he scales off speed, right? So you want him to be very fast. But the thing is, the faster Sender is, the more likely he is to use his third skill, which hits 3 times. So naturally, he's not going to be like the perfect early game pick, because he's going to trigger the boss to counter attack way too many times. And this is especially true since we are also running a Gabrielle, and Gabrielle has a triple hit on her second skill as well. So this can be quite dangerous. But regardless, this is about it. We are done with Apep. Now let's move on to Fafnir, but I think I'm going to skip the earlier 2 waves because this is going to take way too long, and I'll probably even speed up the Fafnir fight to 2 times speed. However, if you found this video helpful so far, do consider subscribing, as subscribing is free and you can always change your mind afterwards. Anyway, let's take a look at this fight, and it's quite clear why Sender is so good. Okay, so there are two main reasons why I think he's so good. Now the first reason is he is naturally very fast, so he's going to attack a lot of times, and therefore he's really good for working on the shield, especially with his triple hit. But I think what's more important is his leader buff. So he grants 25% speed to his entire team. Now what we know about Fafnir is that AP controlling and like AP movement doesn't work. So the only way to get around this is to have even more speed. And he is the only Esper who has a 25% speed lead apart from TA, who is a legendary Esper. But in my opinion, he brings so much more to the table because TA doesn't have multi-hits and she only has AP controls, which will not work over here. So I think you kind of get the gist of this fight. He's just like a typical DPS Esper with multi-hits, with a lot of speed. So he is quite relevant in Fafnir, even though he is slightly harder to play because of his typing. So you either need to have very good relics on him or your team needs to protect him. And this is the reason why I have Clara on this team, because I need to heal him as much as possible. Of course, you don't need Clara, you can opt for Hengrie. Hengrie works as well. Or maybe even Catherine is going to be an excellent choice. Okay, but let's take a look at another place that he excels very well in, and I am talking about the Sonic Miracle. So this will be the last showcase for him, but do take my word for it that he is really good in Temporal Tower. I can't show you that right now because I'm already done with the Temporal Tower. But if you need proof, you can see me beating Temporal Tower 50 using Sender. And he is also really good in the Cube Miracle, but guess what? I'm also done with the Cube Miracle. So all that's really left is PvP, but I think you have enough evidence that he is going to be very strong in PvP as well. At least for like the early and mid game. I think in the end game where teams become very tanky, he may lose in value, but he is still really good for what he brings to the table. So of course this is another solo showcase, so he and Suhua make a very good pair. So this is also another way that you can farm fodder using Sender and Suhua. But of course, like I said, it is very difficult to build Sender. So this is something that should be on your horizon, but it's not something that you want to attain immediately. It's gonna be very, very tough. But yes, I would like you to count how many times the boss moves, and Sender is just so strong with even just 18% accuracy. So if you can manage it, try to get his accuracy up to like maybe 70% or 80%. But I still do personally feel that the attack build is going to be a lot stronger, so don't panic if your accuracy is really low. Now with that said, I guess this is the end of the video. I can stop it over here. So I know some of you guys have actually requested for this video, and if you found it helpful, do let me know down in the comments below, and leave a thumbs up for this video because it really helps the channel, and subscribe for more Dislyte content. Now with that said, this has been Daddy Free to Play, and as always, I will see you in the next video.